What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of College Hill Celebrity Edition. This is Season 2, Episode 2. Let's get right into the review. So, we first start off with Orion. I was actually wondering if he was going to ever mention his singing career, but he did mention that, when it came down to him being a teenager, that is when he dropped his first album. So, that kind of prevented him from actually experiencing college. So, now he feels like this is his big chance to do college for real. So, we also learn that Jocelyn still ain't feeling Parker. So I really think that they could have talked this situation out, but Jocelyn is so headstrong about this that she is calling Parker all type of B's. I mean, calling her out her name every chance that she gets, because Parker's stuff is clearly still in the room and she's still sleeping there. Parker is one better than me because, baby, I would have had to leave because I don't trust Jocelyn. I don't know if she gonna touch my stuff if I stepped out. Like, I don't know how deep her anger goes. So if I was Parker, I would have went on ahead and left that room, found somewhere else to sleep. You have Amber, though. She's waking up from this, hearing Jocelyn go on, and she's like, this is a lot of trauma. I'm not here for it. I don't want to be around that bad energy. And I mean, I get it. Nobody wants to be around somebody when this experience just started. Actually, the experience hasn't even started. They haven't even taken one class yet. And Jocelyn has already, rubbed everybody the wrong way. Alright, so moving on, we quickly learn that Iman is going to be missing some days of school because he has some prior engagements. According to him, he has already worked it out with whoever he needs to work it out with, that he's going to be missing some days. But he just needs Orion to go ahead and pass him the notes so that way he'll know what's going on for class. He's like, listen, I've been to college before. Just slide me all the information that I need to know, and I think I got it. We gonna see if he got it. I'm pretty sure he gonna have it better than, what's his name? Ray J. Because we flash over to him. Amber Rose is over here looking for him. Like, where is he at? Because everybody else is getting ready for school. Ray J is still laying up in the bed. He's knocked out sleep. I'm like, girl, maybe you should have shared a room with him because at least you would have had him waking up on time. So she's like, I'm going to take it upon myself to make sure that Ray J is up and ready to go every day. I'm like, girl, I would never. I'm not going to sit up here and wake Ray J up every single day because he already messed up last season. So it's on him to get up and be ready for school. So he's finally ready. And when he comes downstairs, they're asking him, or should I say Tiffany is asking him, oh, what should we expect on the first day of school? He is not here mentally. Okay, Ray J is trying to figure out why he is back at this school. He's trying to figure out why he signed up for this again, but then he has to remember that he signed up for the check. Like, sir, that's the only reason why you are here, and because you love to be on TV. Nonetheless, it is time for everybody to go to school. So they have 2 vans ready to take everybody. Who's not ready? Jocelyn Hernandez. It's to the point where everybody's like, no, we about to go ahead and head out. So they take one van with most of the people in the van. The only people that were missing was Jocelyn, Ray J, and Orion. Y'all, why was she still getting ready? I think she may have changed her outfit. It got to the point where they got fed up and they left her or whatever right when she was walking out, but they did it as a joke. And they basically just had the driver circle around and then come back to pick her up. And I'm just like, girl, that's what you get. Because you should have been ready already. Alright, so when they finally get to campus or whatever, you can clearly see that there's a divide. You have Parker, she's like, oh my gosh, guys, let's take a photo. And it's pretty much everybody except for Jocelyn. Jocelyn is walking away doing her own thing. And Quay is kind of concerned. He's like, do you think she likes to be alone like this or what? Because, that can't be a good feeling. So I feel like Quay may be the person who tries to, talk to Jocelyn at some point to try to get her to come back around to the group. Alright, so we get to the first class, y'all. It is African American literature. So as the professor is talking, I believe her name is Dr. Trimble. Why is Ray J in the back recording? And And I mean, it's clear. Like, at this point, I want Ray J to have a little tripod so that way he don't have to hold the phone in his hand. So Dr. Trimble is like, sir, what are you doing back there? Ray J, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm just recording. So when they ask questions later, I'm going to have it right here because, last time they said that I did some plagiarism. I said, wait a second, y'all. Somebody in the comments, please let me know why Ray J did not finish the whole course like everybody else did. Please tell me in the comments. All right, y'all. So, I'm sorry. I'm literally recording this as I'm watching it. And I just got to the scene where they asked Tiffany, does she know any spiritual songs or something like that? And she starts singing this gospel hymn. And I am falling out laughing because I did not expect for her to sing it as long as she did. And secondly, I was waiting on the rest of the class to chime in, but they didn't. And third of all, she can't sing at all. So it's actually hilarious. So at this point, because they were talking about, Jesus and all of this stuff, I'm like, okay, I feel like Amber's going to chime in. And that's definitely what she did, because she ended up asking about the black church or whatever. And Dr. Trimble, she definitely gave an answer for it. And we see that Quay, he clearly has a relationship with God. He says that he doesn't really want to talk about slavery and religion, because at the end of the day, he feels like God is his source, and that's going to be that. Now, so we actually get the first assignment, and that is, for them to write about what their connection is to black spirituals, the black church, or if you don't have any connection to it, you can write about that as well. So Amber, she said something else, but it wasn't really important. Now, when it comes to Quay, I feel like he is kind of feeling some type of way. Not that he doesn't like Amber anymore, but it's kind of taking him aback that she is an atheist. And also, I feel like because of Amber's personality, she may be very quick with having a rebuttal for things that are religious. Like how quick she was to be like, oh, this says God, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Oh, why are we talking about the black church? You know what I'm saying? I feel like she's always going to have a rebuttal, and then Quay might have a side eye for her. Like, girl, what's your issue with the church? You know what I'm saying? But overall, I think that even though Amber is atheist, I think that she's going to learn a lot more information about the black church, because the black church was very involved in the civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? So maybe she will have some respect for that. Who knows? We shall see. All right, y'all. So now we get to the next class, and I believe it's a civil rights history class or something like that. I'm not really sure. But nonetheless, the guy is up here talking about how Christianity was passed down to black people through white supremacy. And baby, you see Amber, she is over here. You know how in church and the preacher is pastoring and doing his thing, and you know how the people in the back in the crowds, they just be like, preach, preacher, pastor speaking a word. I feel like Amber was giving it that energy. Like, she was waving her hand, making all these faces, and Quay looks over and he's like, wait a second. Because Amber's energy is on a whole nother level, okay? So he's like, what is that about? And it's crazy because he mentioned how before he even got to school, his sister prayed for him 3 times and said, you will be tested today. I said, yes, please, sister, keep praying over this man, because clearly she knew something about today was going to be off. All right, so the lecture continues, and then we finally open up the floor. Now, I actually appreciated what was said within this conversation, because you have Parker. She's coming from the position of, I am a mixed race woman. She's biracial. Her mom is white. Her dad is black. So talking about race in America, it's a very touchy subject, because we all know that at one point, black people and white people could not marry each other. Hell, they couldn't even play with each other as kids. So, you know what I'm saying? Our history in America is terrible when it comes to races, different races getting along. Then you have Tiffany chiming in, and she says that her fiance is a white man. And when injustices happen between, you know, white people versus black people, and black people are on the hurting end, as most of the times we are, she can't even look at her partner because because to her it's like she's turning her back on her people. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like there's a lot of people who feel that way because a lot of people have found love in a person who is not their same race. But like how we have all witnessed so many injustices happen to black people, it's like, how do I separate my partner from the race of people who hate my people? So I get it. I absolutely understand where Tiffany was coming from. I didn't even know that she was engaged to anybody. Who knew? Because when I saw the previews for this show, it looked like her and Orion was trying to get it popping. So I'm confused. Nonetheless, let me just go ahead and keep going. Alright, so the professor gives them the assignment that they need to go ahead and partner up with somebody. Here's the problem. Jocelyn feels like she's singled out, so she raises her hand and is like, well, I don't have a partner. And you already know that they can't partner with the regular students. They can only partner with each other. And Ray J comes from the back and is like, nah, you singled yourself out. And I'm just like, yeah, Jocelyn, you kind of did that. And from my recollection from college, baby, there was so many times where we had group projects or you had to partner up with somebody that it was quite annoying. Alright, so everybody leaves the class and Ray J is still sitting there because he wants to have a conversation with the professors. And he wants to talk about how, you know, his family has a lineage that started in Mississippi. And unfortunately, for the past 8 months, he's been hanging out with the conservatives. You already know we have seen him with Kanye. We've seen him with Trump. He's been kicking it with Candace Owens. And according to him, he thinks that he's going to be the one person that brings the culture together. I'm just like, sir, what are you talking about? I feel like Ray J just wanted to have a scene because, sir, just sit down. Like, the fact that you're even hanging out with the conservative party, it does make me wonder, why are you doing it? Is because you know how they get a bunch of tax write-offs and you're trying to learn how you can do it as well? Like, what's your reasoning, sir? And why was that something that you didn't bring up in front of the whole group? You made sure that you asked that question when everybody else left. But let's go ahead and move on. Alright, so now we have two different conversations happening at the same time. One being that the group is talking about how Jocelyn has isolated herself. And then we also have Jocelyn. She's talking to an advisor about what's going on in the house and how she feels isolated because she doesn't feel like what she's done is that bad. And it's like, Jocelyn, if you really want to make this work, you're probably going to have to apologize as well as keep the door unlocked so Parker can get her stuff. Let's start there. So, next thing you know, we have Orion and New York. They are having a conversation with some actual students that attend this school. I want to say this was both girls. It was their first year. And, oh my gosh, I can't lie. When the camera flashed to them, I was like, oh my gosh, they look like babies. Like, they look so young. And I feel like because of social media, whenever I see, like, girls who are, like, 18, 19 years old, it makes it seem like all of the girls look so much older. So it was so refreshing to see these two girls look super young. So Orion comes over there so that way he can chit chat, get to know the girls or whatever about like their home life. Do they have siblings or whatever? Just really making small talk or whatever. And it was pretty cool to see them have conversation with the other students outside of just their group. But now it kind of looks like Tiffany may have an eye for Orion. And I'm like, didn't you just tell us that you were engaged to a white man? Girl, what is you doing? So next we get a quick scene with Ray J learning how to use the washing machine thanks to Amber Rose because he has housekeepers, so he doesn't know how to do that. Boy, bye. So the group is having a little chit chat or whatever and some bells go off. And they ask Amber, like, oh, you think that's like some church bells? And she's like, I don't know, I don't really care or whatever. And Tiffany, in her confessional, she's like, there's a lot of people who have been church hurt, and hopefully on Amber's journey, she finds her way back to God. So Quay asks Amber a few questions or whatever, and about like her upbringing, and she says that her mom's still Christian, but she's no longer Christian, and she feels like it's a bunch of cool stories, but she doesn't believe in God. She believes that Jesus may have existed, but she don't believe in him like that. And she also mentioned that a lot of the Christian people that she knows, they were hypocrites. And I'm just like, girl, well, that's a personal experience. Nonetheless, they start talking about how, no, sorry, not they, Amber started talking about how Christianity isn't as old as like fossils and all this stuff that are in the museum. And Quay is like, well, how do you know that? She's like, with scientific evidence. And then she brings up something about like the Bible Belt. I'm not really sure what she was saying at that point because they kind of cut it. And it goes to Quay talking to his confessional. He's like, at one point we were talking about Amber and her being an atheist. And next thing it turned into cracking jokes on Christianity. And he wasn't feeling that. So he decided that he was going to walk away. Because at the end of the day, this is now offending him because he is a Christian. And honestly, as a person who is a strong believer in Jesus Christ, what you're not about to do is play in my face and crack all these jokes and think that I'm about to go ahead and joke along with you. So I absolutely understand where Quay was coming from. So Parker, she's been noticing all day that Quay has been a little iffy with Amber since she said that she was atheist. So she went to go check on Quay. And he was like, this is a little bit too much for me. So, him and Parker kind of stayed in the house while everybody else continued their conversation. Later on, we actually see people basically talking to their kids because almost everybody on the show got kids. Actually, do they all? No, wait, because Tiffany don't have kids. I don't think Quay has kids. But we do see Parker, she's on FaceTime with her baby. We saw Amber on FaceTime with her kids. And Orion, of course, was on FaceTime with his daughter, Namiko, that he has with Jhené Aiko. So we actually learned something about Jhené and Orion's relationship, because after she had Nami, she still had some things going on, and I feel like this may have been the time when she was working on the Selling Souls mixtape, because I remember she had her daughter not too far like before that time, so she was probably still working in the studio on it, and he basically stepped up and decided to be a stay-at-home dad, really take care of the baby while Jhené was able to, move forward with her dreams. And I think that's pretty dope because if I'm not mistaken, they pretty much broke up not too long after Nami was born. So the fact that he stepped up and was like, you know what, I'll raise our daughter while you go ahead and handle your career, I can't even knock that. So in the next scene, we have Tiffany and Amber talking, right? One thing that I noticed is what is going on with Amber's jaw. Did y'all notice that? Like, it's a little weird. There's some weird things happening with her jawline. But nonetheless, Tiffany and this curriculum, I need for her to stop. Every time she's like, yeah, because like, I think your curriculum is the same thing as our curriculum, right? And Amber is like, yeah, I have a hard time with that word as well, but it's curriculum. So, next thing you know, Parker comes in, and she's like, from now on, we're going to call it curriculum. So, next thing you know, we have Quay, Parker, Amber, and Tiffany. They're going ahead and taking shots or whatever because the group decided that they're going to go out that night because they're celebrating them surviving the first day of school. I have no idea if anybody actually did an assignment, but they're going to go celebrate. And you already know Jocelyn is going to be late. So because Ray J did not want her to ride by herself, because I feel like she probably wouldn't have even shown up if she had to ride by herself, he waited for her to get ready. Now, one thing that I will say, baby girl, she put on her little outfit or whatever. And Jocelyn, she looked really cute. But girl, You could have sped that up. Because like Ray J said, you act like this is the Met Gala. No offense, but y'all are in Alabama. Like, I don't think there's anything that is like that fancy, like Met Gala status, where y'all about to go eat. Y'all about to eat at the barbecue joint. Chill out, girl. Like, why did you take all that time to put on a club outfit? So in this next scene, y'all, it got super choppy and I don't understand what was happening. So we had Ray J talking to Jocelyn, and Jocelyn was basically talking about how the night before she basically felt like, everybody kind of isolated her. And then we jump over to the other group, and all I know is that Parker said that she was fragile right now. I have no idea why she's fragile. I don't know if she just went through a breakup. I don't know if somebody passed away in her family. I have no idea because they cut that part off. Then they came back to Quay saying how he's open to everybody or whatever. And what's her name? Amber's like, well, why are you open? Why are you open? And his response was, because I'm a Christian and I love everybody. But I'm like, what was said before? Like, I feel like there's a whole chunk of conversation that we missed. So Amber, she has this whole like, I don't give a F persona right now. So basically she's saying that she's not about to mess with Jocelyn because according to her, she's already seen one red flag or whatever, because she's already seen the bad in Jocelyn. So she ain't rocking with her. So like Quay was trying to say, like, so you gonna hold that up for 26 days? Like, come on now. Sometimes you gotta meet people where they are. And on top of that, let's not act like we did not know who Jocelyn Hernandez was before she got here. Like, one thing that Tiffany said at one point was like, we all knew who we were before we got here. Like, this is not like a group of actual students to where we really don't know who they are. Like, we know who Amber is. We know her personality style. We know who Tiffany is. We know how dramatic she can be. We know how Jocelyn is. We know how in 5 seconds she be ready to fight. Like, we know this already. So, Ray J and Jocelyn, they walk in or whatever. And I think Tiffany was like, oh, I didn't even know y'all was going to show up or something like that. And Jocelyn was like, oh, are y'all about to leave or something? And then it goes to Amber. Amber is like, she comes in with her bedazzled top or whatever, have her makeup all done. I just put on a tracksuit and I'm threw some sunglasses on. And I'm just like, Amber, I get it. But here's the thing. Jocelyn has come a long way. Okay, like let's have a real conversation. Jocelyn has come a long way since that first season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So when Jocelyn appears on TV, she's going to have her makeup done. She's going to have her hair done. She's going to have on an outfit that she believes works for her, because she knows what it was like when everybody was talking trash about her that first season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So every time that she comes out that door, she's going to try to make sure that she looks her best. But here's the thing with you, Amber, because you started off as a video girl. We already saw you being beautiful. Like, you don't have to do all that. The fact that you have your bald head, there is no hair to comb. You don't have to put makeup on. Like, you have great skin. Like, you have a lot of things working for you. And please know, I am not a Jocelyn stan at all. But that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The way she really has been, like, judging Jocelyn so hard, as if she did something personally to her. Because according to her, she washed her hands of Jocelyn as if Jocelyn, like, was locking her out the room. I understand that being Parker's perspective, but Amber, chill out. Because the next thing you know, we see her and Jocelyn having a powwow. Because, or should I say a ponderosa, like Jackie Christie likes to say. Because Jocelyn basically apologized or whatever, and then she went on to explain how, she had a hard childhood, all this stuff, and now Amber is saying things from her perspective. Is like, oh, well, I didn't realize that you had, a bad childhood like I did. And I'm just like, girl, You just have no idea when it comes to Joseline Hernandez, okay? You and her are very similar. Same thing with Tiffany, because then she ends up joining the conversation. And I'm like, yeah, all three of y'all have some similar situations and behaviors. So I'm glad that we got this settled within this one episode, because I would have hated for this to keep dragging on. So we also see that Quake stops by the bathroom or whatever, and he's happy that all the ladies are getting along now. And I'm like, all right, this is cute or whatever, because now everybody's like, oh my gosh, we're all getting along, blah, 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 blah. But here's my thing. I'm kind of mad that Amber hijacked this situation, because she kind of made it be about her and how she was writing Joseline off. When at the end of the day, I'm like, why didn't we see the apology between Joseline and Parker? Because at the end of the day, she kept locking that girl out of her room. And then she decided to call her sneaky and call her out her name and all that stuff. That is who we should have saw Joseline apologizing to, not Amber. And I understand her and Tiffany having a moment, them having a conversation, because that's initially where the disagreement happened. But how in the hell did we skip over Joseline and Parker having a conversation? So y'all, why did we get to the end of the episode? Everybody has wind down. They are tucking into bed because, it's the end of the night. But not for Ray J. Ray J is packing a bag because he's going to go ahead and head on out. I don't know where Ray J is going, but it's like, sir, you just came on this show so that way you can play all day. Is that what's going on right now? Because it ain't making no sense that you just sat up here and wasted these people's time yet again. Talking about he got to go handle some business. Do you? Because it's crazy to me how Iman, he missed the day of school, but he made sure to work it out because he had prior engagements. He probably had the right paperwork that said that he needed to be at another location while you, Ray J, are just doing things. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. But y'all, that is where the episode ended. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.